Hey, welcome to the Simple Nutrition Podcast, a show that helps you learn practical and actual nutrition tips from an expert. I am your host, Leonila Campos, a registered dietitian with over 8 years of experience in the nutrition field. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Simple Nutrition Insights Podcast. I am your host, Leonila Campos, registered dietitian. And in today's episode, I am really excited to have a special guest, Katya Dmitrieva, who is an intuitive life coach and the founder of the Intuitive Life Coaching Academy. She is an ICF professional certified coach with 13 years of experience, having helped over 1,000 clients, from entrepreneurs to doctors. The idea to teach intuitive skills in coaching came to Katya during a meetup in September of 2020. And then she subsequently created an ICF accredited program, giving Katya giving birth to the ILCATE. Currently, they are accepting applications for the 11th group, set to begin in November 2024. Katya, welcome to the podcast. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for accepting to do it, and I'm excited to do this episode.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's start with our first question. Can you share a bit about your personal journey, right, and what led you to become an intuitive coach?
Yes, absolutely. I had quite a journey. Of course, I didn't start as an intuitive life coach. I had a full, long path to that. I was born and raised in Soviet Union and Russia. Intuition was not something that I always had it, but it's not something that you talk about a lot. And of course, I had to do a lot of self-search on that path to myself. But when I was already in the United States and trying to find myself, trying to find my purpose in life, I was going through some difficult moments, and spirituality was something that really helped me to pull through, to work through my difficult times. And in that, I really found my purpose to help people. Like that, I was going through my own awakening, and I basically, in one of my meditations, I asked a very clear question from my intuition: how can I combine my love for helping people with my intuition? And I got an answer: check out life coaching. I was able, and from that moment on, because when you know that you are on the right path, things start to show itself to you, right? And next day I found out about a life coaching program 13 years ago. It was kind of quite random at that time. And yeah, I went from there and never looked back. And of course, it was a lot of uncertainty. What is that? Whether it's something, but I always trusted my intuition. I always listen, especially in important moments in my life. I was able to listen to my intuitive voice and take that action.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And that's amazing, right? Especially when you grow up not knowing what that is, right? But still being able to develop it and use it to help other people. I think that is great. And you're absolutely correct, right? Once we find out what our passion is, right? Yeah, things almost start to fall into place and they make sense, right? And we become more, what's the word? More I don't know, we get that fire in us, right? To continue to develop those skills and help. So I think it's definitely important to let the listeners know, right, what really intuition is and why do you think it's important in today's fast-paced world?
Intuition, to kind of simplify that, is actually a connection with yourself. It's being able to hear your own voice, the voice of your authenticity, to understand who you are and be able to connect with that, listen to that, and take an action. So to simplify, a lot of people call it a gut feeling, but I stay away from that definition because gut feeling is very generalized way. Every person has their own intuitive calling card or their own way of receiving intuition. Also, intuition shows up in different ways for different people. So for some people, it can be a gut feeling. For some people, it can be expansion in their heart or tingling sensation. But knowing your unique intuitive calling card will help you to really understand what is your intuition and what is not.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, it's so individualized, right? Like you said, each person has their own intuitive card per se. So how, why do you think it's so important to find our intuition, right, in today's fast-paced world and just like how our life is now? Like, why do you think it would be important to do that?
It is important because if you really feel that there is more to life, that mundane, mainstream, basic things, that you looking for purpose, meaning in life, then you are also looking for connection with your intuition, because intuition will lead you to meet yourself, know who you are, what do you want, what are your passions, what are your purpose in life. So they are very much interconnected, and I think it's the most important thing for to find meaning and to find fulfillment in life.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you hear amazing stories, right? When people really find themselves, right? They find their purpose in life and like just the amazing things that they're able to do just in general. So how do you integrate intuition into your coaching sessions, and how does that differ from like traditional coaching ways or methods?
Intuitive life coaching is different from conventional life coaching. From like when conventional coaching focuses more on solutions and like goals, action steps, we do have that in intuitive life coaching, but solutions come as a byproduct of our work. Intuitive life coaching focuses on the person as a whole, not the problem, not the details of the story that takes you to like a going round and about, right? Not going to the core of the issue, core of the situation. So we are able to really focus on the person, read between the lines what person is saying, what they are not saying, like holistically look at the situation, and also be able to use intuitive listening, intuitive questioning, sharing our intuitive observation, and actually being very honest and very open to what we're really hearing, so that people can make shifts, changes in their lives. So it's a very deep dive. Intuitive life coaching is a very deep dive into the person, and with that, really helping the person to change their life. It's not like a surface approach.
I love that. Thank you, for explaining that for sure. And I think we talked about that right when we did our interview together as well, right? It's almost is with similar with nutrition, right? In the sense of like how I approach that specifically, in the sense of really learning about the client itself, right? Like the root cause, right? Really understanding that person as a whole to be able to help them in this case, nutrition wise or life coaching per se. So I love that holistic approach for sure. What are some common misconceptions, right, that people might have about intuition?
That intuition is that some misconceptions are that not every person has intuition, that it's just a woo-woo thing that is not applicable to life or anything, that it's like a focus pocus that has nothing to do with reality, that it's not practical, that it's not tangible. These are real, and that it's very hard to really understand where it's your intuition and where it's not. So these are biggest misconceptions.
Gotcha. Okay.
And maybe one more, that, or you have to be born with that, or there is no way to develop it.
But in your case, right, as an intuitive life coach, that is incorrect. Is that right?
Absolutely. Everything with what I just said is incorrect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with your work with clients, right, even for someone that maybe doesn't know what their intuition is the idea is to find it, right? To find it with them and like really be in tune with themselves.
Yes.
Awesome. So I think that's a perfect segue to sharing, like, can you share a memorable story, right, or experience where your intuitive guidance made a significant impact on a client's life?
There are so many stories. Yeah, I will be happy to share. There was a situation where my clients were trying to see how they could grow their business and expand by helping them, by coaching them. We were able to identify what was holding them back to the degree that they completely changed the way they ran their business, and it led to amazing results and amazing success. They are very, very successful, entrepreneurs, influencers, famous people, making a lot of impact in lives of so many other people. But we had to tweak something to make them help realize like something that was holding them back, that after that changed in their business, and now they are very, very successful multi-million dollar businesses, and living life of their dreams.
Right.
That was like a very good example of how intuitive life coaching was able to go into the root of the situation and make this shift that completely shifted people's lives.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really amazing, right? To be able to see that progression. I'm sure just as when I see clients, right, just to see them progress from when they come to see you to like having that realization, right, or having that achieve so many things, that like you mentioned right now, things that were holding them back to like have that complete turn, and now making so much change. That's pretty amazing. How can someone start to trust their own intuition, right? Especially when they feel uncertain or they doubt themselves.
Yeah, doubting themselves is the thing that will definitely not help them to connect with their intuition. What can help them to connect with their intuition, and what you probably help them a lot, is connecting with their bodies. Intuition starts in the body. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's a third eye." It's like hold on, hold on. Like, to start from somewhere, we're starting with the body, feeling it, because people are so disconnected from their bodies, from the trauma, from experiencing a lot. Shame, trauma, all these wonderful things that happen to us. We disconnect. We disconnect from the body, not to feel the pain, right? Not to feel the shame, not to feel all this things. So for us to survive, to be able um, to survive the difficulties of our lives. So the first step is to reconnect with your body. And there are so many different ways. Like, one of the ways is actually through physical activity. Like you going through a stressful moment, just stand up and go for a walk. Get your body moving. Body movement is a first important thing for connecting with your intuition. Being stagnant, being disconnected from your body will not bring you to your intuition. So knowing how your body feels like we know our scent, right? Or we know our loved one's scent. The same, it's like a scent of your intuition is energy of your body, of your presence, right? Like, through meditation, through physical activity, through yoga, through like understanding, okay, how does my own body feels like? What is stuck in my body? Where do I store my feelings and emotions? Like, this is the first big step in connecting with your intuition. Because when you understand your own energy, you will be able to connect with like higher energies, with higher vibrations, with the voice of intuition, with like the voice of your higher self, right? The voice of you that exists outside of the world, outside of the limiting beliefs, pains, traumas, the negativity that we accumulate, kind of like connecting with your soul.
Yeah, that's amazing. And as you explained that, it's almost so difficult for some people to really understand that, right? That being in tune with yourself, or like really learning about your body goes beyond everything essentially, right? Because it's going to help in so many ways, right? In my case, in terms of nutrition, right? It helps in so many ways, because if you're not in tune with your body, right? If you don't know how your body feels when you're hungry, or how your body feels when you're satiated, right? Or why is it that we can control cravings, right? Or how we respond to stress. And oftentimes it's because of that, right? Because we don't know how our bodies feel. We don't know how our bodies are responding to things. And so it's amazing that that you're able to help people with that, right? Because not only is going to teach us to feel things, right, at a different level, but also to where we can go, right? Like how our potential can be. So yeah, that's pretty amazing for sure. And so how can individuals balance logical thinking, right, and intuition when making those important decisions?
Yeah, so both logical thinking is important and intuition, combining them too. Don't forget about intuition, about logics, about facts, about like information, about but it's a very surface logic is a very surface thing. Intuition is much deeper. Intuition provides actually more information to you than logical mind, because it derives information from so many other things that are much deeper than the surface thing you see. It derives from your subconscious. It derives from your dreams. It derives from whatever your beliefs are, for some people from past lives, from other experiences, or things that our logical mind forgot already a long time. So we are able to bring out this information that's a long time forgotten from our intuitive side. So both logics and intuition are important for you to take into consideration in making decisions and living your life.
Yeah, so essentially not just using one over the other, right? It's like really taking both of them and using that.
I will tell you, sometimes I take intuition over logic. My logical mind will, because what happens? Logical mind is also usually very heavily influenced by other energies, by other people, or other influences, right? That are not you. Intuition belongs to you, and it's only you. Who can you, at the end of the day, trust? Yourself. If you can't trust yourself, you are in deep, you know what, right? So trusting yourself is important. And if you just trust outside influences, everything outside, then you will never be able to make right decisions for you.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because if you're following what everybody else is doing, right? And like, even though within you, right, which is your intuition, is telling you, no, that doesn't, like, it doesn't feel right, right? It's not us. And it's most likely not going to work long term, right? It's like you said, at the end of the day, you have to trust yourself. And I think that is a hard thing to do too, right? Especially as you mentioned, like if there's trauma, if there are other influences that have impacted our intuition or lack of, right? Like really learning how to do that. And so I think it's important to be able to learn, right, what your intuition is, and like most importantly, being able to trust yourself, right? Like who you are and like what you want to be as you continue to explore yourself. Let's see. Okay. So as a life coach, right, what challenges have you faced or as an intuitive coach, and how have you been able to overcome them?
So many challenges. I liked what Steve Jobs said once. He said something, I don't remember exactly, but he said something along the lines that only pursue something that you're passionate about, because there will be so many challenges, problems, hiccups, and failures that if it's not something that you truly love, you will drop it. And it's so true. So, how many challenges? Challenges with people, challenges with myself, challenges like judging myself and checking with, like, what am I judging in that moment? Challenges of sometimes finding the right people, challenges of saying no and keeping safe boundaries, challenges of realization that I only work with people I love, care, and trust. That's only people I can help, because if I take whoever just for a financial benefit, then it's not good for me, it's not good for the person. So kind of a lot of challenges around boundaries, challenges about like finding my own voice, and helping people to find their voice. Also challenges of like imposter syndrome, right? Like, who am I? Who am I to help this like amazing person who is already like, doing their thing so greatly, right? So all those things are challenges, and also having your own business is quite a challenge. If we are not service providers, we're entrepreneurs, right? Like we have to. It's not that we accept insurance and then people just come to us from a thin air. No, like it's challenges of entrepreneurship. So, but at the same time, we are not only entrepreneurs, we also are service providers, right, and entrepreneurs. So it's a lot of challenges.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I love that you mentioned about like those boundaries, right? And saying no. I think I see these a lot, not only with my female clients, right, but also with my male clients. They struggle so much with like, I can, you know, I'm not doing my goals, right? Because either my family doesn't support them, or when I have outings, right, there's nothing there for me, or whatever the case may be, right? So they're not establishing these boundaries either because they don't want to feel shamed, or because they don't know how to speak up for themselves, right? And so there is a lot of internal work for sure that we have to do to establish those boundaries, right? To say, no, this is what's going to be good for you, right? You have to take care of yourself. You have to be able to do these things. And it's almost like I'm pulling teeth, right? Because they're so resistant. Again, it's likely because they don't know that, they have to find themselves, right? They have to find their intuition to be able to feel, strong to establish those boundaries. And so, yeah, that's a tough one. I guess I want to linger here a little bit. What would you say, right, to these clients of mine, like, hey, that they're struggling to really establish these boundaries and say no a little bit more often?
Yeah, like it's probably their limiting beliefs. Here, I would really explore, because we all know what we need to do. And just by us telling people what they need to do, they will, like, unless they overcome their limiting beliefs and are able to have this strong buy in, right? Like that, what is the cost of you, like asking this question, what is the cost of you not taking action? What is the cost of you sabotaging yourself? What is the cost you are paying on daily basis on not doing what you actually want to do? Like what stops you? And also look into their, it's called like an emotional glue. What are the benefits of you actually sticking to this, you know, to this, no, I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to follow the plan. What is the, and usually there is a big emotional glue connecting them to that. Like, let's say, if the person is depressed, they can feel it's good because everyone is asking how I am doing. Or it also, the payoff for me is that I don't have to do much, right? I can be just depressed, for example, or not exercising. It means that I can, or not eating right. It means that I can still stay in that, size, or like look the way I don't like, but it keeps me away from trying new things and taking risks. I'm afraid, I'm scared of taking risks, right? So there is a big, can be a big, like a payoff for people to stay where they are staying. That's why it's very important to explore that first before offering them like a plan, because they may not. And people are more likely to take an action on things that they decide that important for them than us telling them what they need to do.
Right. Yeah, I have to agree with that 100%. Right. Yes, we might be the experts here, right? But it really comes down to like what they want to do, right? Like what they're able to do and their level of or their stage of change, right? Because yeah, we can come up with like a beautiful plan, right? But if they're not ready for it, it doesn't matter how beautiful the plan is, right? It's just not going to happen. Versus like, okay, let's together, right? Let's come up with something that you're able to do and that you're willing to do. But I love those questions, right? About really asking them the cost, right? Of not doing something and then finding that glue part of it, right? Like what is really, really holding them back. So thank you so much for sharing those tips. How do you see intuition evolving in the future? And do you think it will play a larger role in personal development and coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually pioneering that. Like, even 13 years ago, I started calling myself like intuitive life coach. And, what is that kind of, what is that? Absolutely. And now you can see people are opening more and more, like talking in like a business, a corporate, they talking about that more and more openly. And I think I'm very passionate about, I'm very passionate advocate for intuition to become something that all people see a value in, and tapping and learning and using and trusting, for everyone, not only like for us holistic entrepreneurs, right, and practitioners, but for everyone, whether it's in corporate setting, whether it's in business setting, where it's in personal setting. Everywhere there are only benefits and benefits and benefits, and I am very passionate about kind of promoting that and lobbying it yeah, for people to make it like a normal thing, not something that people don't understand. And also with our classes and everything that we teach intuition to be practical and tangible.
I think that's a perfect segue to maybe let the listeners know more about your certificate programs, just like the services that you offer and like how they can get in contact with you. Of course, I'll add, everything in the show notes, but tell the listeners more about the amazing work that you do.
Thank you so much. Yeah, like we offer a lot of free classes. Like every week on Tuesday, we have a free class on intuition, intuitive life coaching. Today we had a class in the morning on intuition. In the evening, we will have a group coaching where people can come and experience intuitive life coaching. We also offering 4-day masterclass on path to intuition right now. And it's okay if you didn't have not started at the beginning. You will, after signing up, you will receive the replays. We are actually also inviting people to our intuitive development course, 11-week intuitive development course. We have our Intuitive Life Coaching Academy and certification program that we started registration for November. If you're interested to become a professional certified intuitive life coach, as a great foundation for many other things, like for chiropractors, medical professionals, holistic entrepreneurs, dietitians, personal trainers, you name it. It's a great foundational training. So we are everywhere. We are on alkate.com. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. So yeah.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. No, and you send me the link, so I'll absolutely add them to the show notes. So again, if you want to attend the masterclass, right, and you're listening to the episode now, I'll add that link as well. But even if you don't have a chance to listen to it this week, right, and you're interested in the certificate program, that link will be there too, as well as the links to the website and how
discovery call. If you to learn more.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to add all that. What advice would you give to someone interested in exploring intuitive coaching as a career path?
The advice is to listen to your intuition. There are so many programs. First, big advice, if I may give advice.
Absolutely.
Look for education in life coaching. There are a lot of practitioners who don't have any specific education, and they call themselves coaches. You will be surprised. Let's put it this way. You will be surprised when you go through the program how many things you thought you knew, but you didn't, and will help you to get better results for your clients, and with that have a more successful business. So get education. There are so many programs right now. Connect with the one that resonates with you, not on basis of this is too expensive, this is too, but connect with the idea, connect with people, see what resonates with you. It has to be very intuitive. Like if it resonates, go for it. I also recommend that you go for a program that is accredited by ICF, International Coaching Federation, because it has very, regulations and guidelines for international guidelines for life coaching. And it also looks good on your resume, and you will get great education. So that's my biggest advice.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, right? Specifically, like finding the legitimacy, right, of the programs that you want to do. Because you're absolutely right about it. Pretty much anybody can come themselves a coach, right? Like take your money, like not learn anything. So you want to definitely be on the lookout with what Katya mentioned, right? And if you have more questions, right, as you mentioned, doing a discovery call, right, learning more about your program, I'll make sure to definitely add that link too. But any final thoughts, anything else that you would like to add, or that you would like the listeners to know about intuitive coaching or intuition?
I actually, if I may, have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Like after we had our conversation last week, and I was wondering, because it felt like you also realized that you do a lot more of intuitive work than you thought.
Yes. It's something that it comes very natural to me, right? Asking these questions, but it comes because I really care about my clients, right? I want to make sure that I provide the resources and I provide what they need based on their struggles, right? Based on their problems. And so it comes natural. I didn't think of it, right? Like, oh, it's part of my intuition, or it's part of intuitive coaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
kind of realizing that you're actually doing that and acknowledging the role of your intuition in helping your clients.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that my clients and I talk about, right, when it comes to nutrition, and more specifically if it's when they're struggling, right, to choose healthier options, or struggling with like choosing specific trigger food, right, because they're so stressed. And oftentimes it's not black or white, right, like, oh, just stop eating it, right, or not buy it or whatever. But yes, we're removing the problem, but we're not addressing it, right? We're not working through ways of being able to in a way get rid of it, right? And so it does take a lot of work. It doesn't happen in one session, right? It takes some work from my side, and also from the practical side of the client, right? Some work that has to be done there for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. But yes, so any final thoughts that you would like to provide, or anything else that you would like to add?
Like final thoughts, that if you have that thought in the back of your mind that there is more to life that meets the eye, listen to that voice, even if it's really, really quiet. Just listen to that. Start opening yourself up to, like what's there for you, what's more there for you, whether it's finding your life purpose, connecting with your spirituality, connecting with your intuition, finding a life that you enjoy living is very important.
Yeah, and I think it's important, definitely if you're listening, right, and you're thinking about like, I don't know what to do with my life, or I'm so unhappy with where I'm at, right, that there are options, right? Like talking, like, for example, to Katya, right, having that discovery call and like just figuring out what it is, what your purpose is, or just giving you some of that guidance, right? It doesn't take, I know sometimes taking that step, right? Okay, let me message them, or let me give them a call, right? But it can be like life-changing, right? It can really give you that purpose that you need, right? Especially if you're struggling, like just not knowing what to do, right? Like you're tired of doing the same thing over, going through the motions, right? And you're like ready to just do something else. Give Katya a call, right? Go into her social media, her Instagram, her Facebook, which I'm going to add in the show notes, and send them a message, right? Just as simple as that. So there is hope there is opportunity. So it's just a matter of like taking that step.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much. Well said.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Katya. Thank you so much, everybody, for staying with me and listening. I hope you learned so much today. Again, head over the show notes. If you have any more questions, right, to reach out. And yeah, thank you again. Remember to stay strong and stay safe. And I will talk to you in another episode. Bye-bye for now. This podcast, the links and resources provided are for the purpose to educate only and are not a replacement for medical advice or nutrition therapy. I suggest you seek out the help of a trained professional to help you with your specific situation and needs.